It is a much anticipated homecoming for a Canadian masterpiece. Ottawa police have located the famous roaring lion portrait of Winston Churchill more than 2 years after it was stolen right off the wall. It was taken out of the lobby of Ottawa's Fairmont Château Laurier, and the investigation of this portrait required transnational cooperation. It eventually led authorities all the way to Italy. And now the painting, or the photograph rather, has been recovered. They have since arrested and identified an Ontario man, something close to home, for the theft. Joining us this morning from Philadelphia with his expertise on investigations like this one is Robert Whitman, the creator of the FBI's National Art Crime Team. Good morning. Great to have you with us.
Hey, good morning, Anne-Marie. It's great to be here.
It has been fascinating. I mean, from a news perspective, and really from living in Ontario, to be watching this investigation the last couple of years. Police tracked this portrait to England and then to Italy, where they collaborated with Italian authorities. How complex are these types of transnational investigations?
Well, these types of investigations are really the toughest ones to bring home. The reason for that is because different countries have different statutes, different laws. So any investigator, like from Canada or the U.S., has to follow the rules of those investigations and those laws in those countries. So oftentimes they're not the same as they are in our countries. And so as a result, you have to play by their rules. So it's a diplomatically touchy type of investigation. I've been involved in this case since 2022. I've been advising the Ottawa PD and others on how to recover this painting or this photograph. And Detective Geller did a great job.
I mean, this is why we're speaking to you this morning, because we are fascinated to know what has been happening in the in-between times when we weren't covering it as a news event. You were still on board. The person in Italy, I understand, who eventually bought this portrait had no idea that it was stolen. At least that's what this person says. How often does it happen that someone buys a high-end piece of art and doesn't know that it's stolen, or maybe isn't asking about the origins?
Well, you know, it's very usual. That's not an unusual situation. We always recover art when it's stolen. We recover it when it comes back to market. In other words, when somebody tries to sell it, when it comes up, you know, maybe an inheritor or someone inherits a piece, they try to sell it at an auction if it gets publicized, or it might be through an undercover operation with the police actually, you know, being the buyer. So it always comes back to market. That's when we buy it. And most of the time, I can say that when it sells at auction, the people who buy it don't know it's stolen. They rely on the auction house to do their due diligence and do their homework to make sure that they have good title. So
this was an international case because of who the subject matter was. How likely is it that people weren't aware that this was a stolen piece of or an artifact?
Well, you have to remember, this is a photograph, and it's a print of a photograph. Mm-hmm. In other words, there's many of these out there. It's not unique in that it's only one. Now, you know, when we have a stolen Picasso or a stolen Renoir, that's unique. It's the only one out there. That's a little different. But in this situation, you know, many of these have been sold. In fact, during this investigation, we looked into two or three different copies of this photograph that were being offered for sale around the world. So we had to identify the specific ones, and it was done through good forensic work by the Ottawa PD, as well as working with a group in Vienna known as the OSCE Cultural Heritage Task Force. So as a result of all these groups working together, we were able to do this investigation.
Well, the Château Laurier in Ottawa says it has now removed nearby portraits, and they're attempting to better secure them for the future. And Robert, I'm sure that you've been there, but many people in Canada have been to the Château Laurier. And, you know, you just wait in the lobby for someone, or you're on a call, or you're waiting for your luggage to come down. And all of these really famous portraits used to be right there. I mean, if it was crooked, I could go and adjust it. What would the process entail of now securing better these artifacts on the walls?
Well, they're going to have better bolts, security bolts into the walls. They're going to have alarm systems. So if the picture moves, the photograph moves in some way, there'll be an alarm that goes off just like into the regular alarm system for the hotel. So all of this will be electronically done. And in the future, they'll be much safer. And yeah, it's a great exhibition that they have in that room. You know, they have Albert Einstein, they have Churchill back, and some great photographs.
Creator of the FBI's National Art Crime Team and involved in this case, Robert Whitman, thank you so much for joining us. We're glad to see that it's coming home to Canada.
Yeah, it's a great day. It was probably the biggest heist in the 21st century in Canada at this point, the biggest heist of art. And it's great to see that we've been able to get it back and solve it.
We love that it's come home. Thanks so much, Robert.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.